Satsankalpa.
I took the entire Bhagavad Gita framework. I wrote it as a leadership book. The same framework, interviewed several executives from variety of companies, from Pepsi to Microsoft to Apple to Tata Group to uh, Biocon to State Bank of India to variety of places, Europe, India, United States, several CEOs, over 40 CEOs and about 80 next level of executives. We interviewed like 120 different people, took their examples, took their stories, and we realized that tamasic and rajasic represent the different kinds of smartness, but sattvic represents wisdom. So we wrote this book primarily using these examples, using this framework as sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, using the gunas framework. So you might want to check that out. In India, there is an Indian version of this book, slightly updated. It is a blue color book. And in United States, this is what the book looks like. This is a book which is written about 10, 11 years ago. And if you don't get this book, or if you don't want to spend the entire time reading the book, forget about it. You don't have to read the whole book. You will probably find a lot of my talks and my colleagues' talks, and there are articles written on the, and they are available for free from Harvard Business Review to, variety of MIT magazines, or, variety of them. If you Google, you will find it. Next slide, please. So, and essentially, only thing which we did was the definition of wise leadership, because ultimately, wise leadership in the 21st century is the ultimate goal of yoga. Equanimity, samabuddhi, balanced and aligned approach to life. So to a certain extent, Bhagavad Gita gives me that kind of an aligned approach to life. So summarizing this entire talk, I will say Bhagavad Gita is about actually giving you guidance in your daily life, whether you want to be a leader, whether you want to be a coach, or any of them. So let me just go to last 2 slides. So, by the way, these are all various details which you don't need right now, because this is not a seminar or a workshop, it's just a talk. So just I wanted to give you this. So you can keep going. Next one. Yeah, this is it. So what I want you to remember from this book, you don't have to read the book at all. You don't have to listen to anything. Just remember this acronym, wisdom. This actually comes from the Bhagavad Gita stuff, which we said. Whatever you do, if you were to look at the summary of this, work with authenticity and appropriateness. Don't just try to be appropriate. There are so many people who are appropriate who have zero authenticity. That's not good. You are being only politically correct. But if you are authentic but not appropriate, you may end up in jail or you may get nicely beaten up. So you need to have both of them. Okay. So the way in which you can talk about the authenticity and appropriateness, this alone I will elaborate a little bit, is because Steve Jobs was very authentic. That also meant working with Steve in the early days of Apple. I can tell that it is not very easy to work with him. He was considered to be a genius, but he was also a very hard person to work because he just did not think that you can stop at something. And he was, and also he always announces everything. His vision is great, what he is planning. But Apple was always languishing under his leadership till Tim Cook joined. Tim Cook is a great supply chain management kind of a guy. He's a great operations kind of a guy. He created the bridge between Steve Jobs' vision and the reality of how to deliver the products based on the vision. So Steve Jobs held the vision. Tim Cook brought the operational capability to make that vision get grounded. So getting grounded is appropriateness. Having the right vision and saying this is that is the what you call greatness of Steve Jobs. When Steve Jobs and Tim Cook worked together, Apple started taking off. Around 2000 or 1997, 1998, the Apple market cap was between $1 to $3 billion. Now it is $3.4 trillion. It is one of the top 3 most valuable companies on the planet. How did it become that? It became because Tim Cook brought large amount of appropriateness. By the way, don't go to fight with me afterwards. I am not saying Tim Cook made the Apple by himself successful, but with Steve Jobs' vision and the innovativeness, his ability to bring the groundedness and supply chain and making sure operational excellence came together, they made Apple successful. So Steve Jobs represents authenticity, Tim Cook represents appropriateness. Together, they made it successful. So first and foremost is work with authenticity and appropriateness. Find a partner who can kind of counterbalance your weaknesses. Make sure your strengths and their strengths work together. That's the first step. Then intelligent and flexible fortitude. You need to know when to hold, when to fold. That's what they call in cards game. If you hold on to your card game thinking, if I only get one more ace or one more jack or one more queen, you will lose your shirt on the back. So you need to know when you have a chance in becoming successful in that game or when to fail. This is very important. You need to be flexible and you need to be intelligent. Intellect alone does not count. How smart you are does not mean how successful you are going to be in the world. You need to remember that very, very clearly. If you think, oh, I'm so smart, how come that fellow is becoming, more promotions and more money? I'm so intelligent and I'm not getting that. That is because you don't know how to apply your intelligence in an appropriate way to produce results. So what do you do because of that? Shift your perspective. Shift your perspective from your intelligence to what is needed and wanted in the context for your people. How do you make right decisions with intuition, sometimes with vision, sometimes with instinct, but overall you need to use your buddhi. You need to use buddhi to make the decisions, not just your emotions. And when you are leading, let go of your ego. I am the boss. I should always be front. My name should be done. I worked with a large bank in India. I coached the CEO of a large bank to help him as he made the State Bank of India extraordinarily successful for a 5-year period. One thing which I forgot to work with him very closely, He made the State Bank of India employees to shine, State Bank of India customers to be very happy. But I forgot to help him to recognize his next level of people should actually become much more important than himself. Because he was happy, he did wonderful work. He did great job as the chairman of State Bank of India, but because he did not pay as much attention to his next level of people and groom them to become prima donnas, after he left the organization, they went in their own way. They did not become recognized for who they are, so they pulled the entire bank down. So you need to learn how to lead from behind, how to make other people leaders. That is the essence of leadership. You need to lead others to become leaders. Just because you are a leader, they are not your followers. They are leaders where, just like Krishna was a chariot driver for Arjuna, doesn't make Krishna smaller. He was greatest because he had the humility to become a Sarathi for Partha. Same way, what does it take for you to help them to grow on the shoulders of what you are able to accomplish? When you can deal with people who report into you, people who are subordinate to you, if you have a servant leader attitude and help them to become more successful, then you are truly learning the Bhagavad Gita message in a day-to-day life. And finally, motivation has to be based on sattvika buddhi. With certain attitude of gratitude, you do what you can. And once you are done, do it as Krishnarpanam and then stop there. This is what, and next slide, please. This is what we call it awakening the Arjuna within. For past 15 weeks, we have been doing an online project where we are taking Bhagavad Gita as a karma practice, karma yajna. And that's what we are doing. And the way in which we are trying to take it and work with it is to apply all the things that we are learning day by day into practical ways. Of course, here there is a question: does our karma influence the way in which we apply the knowledge? Our karma will influence the way in which we apply if we think that is who I am. If I talk to you like this is Prasad, look at how great Prasad is. Prasad has written a book. He is giving a talk. So he must be the wisest kind of a guy. Then I would be making a biggest mistake. Whatever I need to tell, it cannot be to make me look good or what I do look good, but it has to serve the purpose, and it has to, I need to go from I am just nimitta matram. When I remember that, then I will do what is good for the project. When I do that, I am actually not operating from who I am operating from the divine who is guiding me behind. So that means more I surrender my ego, operate from a larger context of the divine guidance that I'm getting, then less and less of my karma will act. When I completely operate with no ego at all and do the best job that I can, then our karma will not play a role. That is what in one of the slokas he says, Shankaracharya says, Prarabdaya samarpitam swavapuhu. I am going to, by the Gnanagni that I got, I am going to put my own prarabdha karma, and then that means there is no doer, there is no karta. That means there is no person to whom that karma gets attached. So drop the doership, then things will work beautifully. So that is what we are trying to talk about. And this project I will not talk a lot about, but there are a bunch of 20 to 30 people who have been working online, LinkedIn, and through Zoom sessions on Sunday mornings for me in United States, Sunday evening for India. Several of us are working. There are wonderful projects on mental health for youth, education projects, Gita as a course in colleges, communication architecture of Krishna and Arjuna, variety of people who have been participating with us at the Institute of Indic Wisdom, and as various people who are volunteering on this particular project have been doing some very interesting stuff. You can write to us, or you can check up the LinkedIn various articles that some of the people are writing, or some of what I have written. You can look up and ask questions. I'll take it forward. And namaste to all of you. I'm not able to acknowledge each and everyone whose names I see, but my pranams to all of you.